Members, a quorum has been duly established. Could we ask that the members and our guests beyond the rail and in the gallery please rise? Members, if we could bring the floor to attention, please. If our members and guests beyond the rail and in the gallery will please rise, we will be led in prayer this afternoon by our chaplain, Rabbi Mona Alfi, after which, please remain standing. We will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag by Senator Cannella. Rabbi?
Good afternoon. Oh God, as we stand here together at the beginning of a new year, we find ourselves at the crossroads between what has been and what might be. We are called upon to look at all that needs to be accomplished and to be honest about the difficult work that lies ahead. Now is the time for each of us to envision the world as it can be and should be, and to look into our hearts to see how we can make that dream a reality. May we always hear the still small voice that dwells within each of us, calling us to do more, go further, and create what can only now be imagined. May the source of all blessings make our footsteps firm and our actions noble. May our legacy be one of wisdom and compassion, prosperity and peace. May this be God's will. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Senator Cannella. Members, we are at privileges of the floor. Before we take up any items under privileges of the floor, could you take a moment, members, to join me in recognizing our friend and former colleague, former State Assembly member Barbara Matthews, here at the front of the chamber. Assembly member, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Under privileges of the floor, Senator Lowenthal. Senator Lowenthal, do you have guests? We can indeed. One moment. Members, reports of committees will be deemed read. Under motions, resolutions, and notices, Senator Lowenthal, are you prepared to take up your item under privileges of the floor? Privileges of the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just above me, I am pleased to have the opportunity to acknowledge a group of students, their parents, their teachers from the Pacific Technology School, which is located in Orangevale. It's part of Sacramento County. They're seated in the gallery. They're led by the charter school principal, Mr. Mahmoud Altoon. The Pacific Technology School is part of the Magnolia Foundation, a nonprofit charter management organization which operates under the district or county charters. It's authorized by the state. Please, members, join me in welcoming this group to our first Senate floor session of 2011, the students from the Pacific Technology School.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Senator Lowenthal. Members, under motions, resolutions, and notices. Motions and resolutions, members. We have no items on the daily file. Senator Corbett, for what purpose do you rise?
Is it appropriate to invite people to an event at this point?
Announcements would indeed be appropriate.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. President. I just wanted to welcome everyone back now that we're starting a new year, 2011. And in order to have an opportunity for us all to get together and say hello to each other once again, I'd like to invite you all, as senators, all senators and assembly members and staff, to a welcome back reception. And when I say staff, I mean all of the staff in the building. I'd like to welcome you all to reception in the Office of the Majority Leader, which is co-sponsored by the Women's Caucus and our chair, Noreen Evans, and the Pro Tem, Senator Steinberg. So please join us upon the adjournment of session and also slightly upon the and of the swearing in of our treasurer. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Senator Corbett. Senator Ahlquist, for what purpose do you rise, Senator?
Adjourn in memory.
Please proceed. Members, if we could have your attention, please, for an adjourn in memory.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise today to adjourn in memory of a man, George Barris, who was like a brother to me for the last 30 years, and who quite shockingly died Christmas Eve day. We think of pneumonia at the age of 65 in San Jose. George was born in Pittsburgh. Like his father, who was a Greek Orthodox priest, George started out in that vein. He attended Holy Cross Seminary in Massachusetts, but then went on to earn a law degree in '69 and then moved to California in 1971. He practiced law in San Jose for the rest of his life up to a month or two ago, earning a reputation for fairness, intelligence, honesty, and scrupulous with respect to values of the legal profession. In addition to serving his clients with integrity, he also gave back to the local community, serving on many boards, including the Trinity Youth Services, as well as being active in the Hellenic community. All who knew him, including myself, will miss his kindness, his warmth, his feisty sense of humor, or feisty, I'm Greek, I don't know which it really is here. I would like to add that George was really a family man. He had two wonderful sons. He was a patient caretaker for his mother, Presbytera Angela Barris. Presbytera is the word we give in respect to the wife of a Greek Orthodox priest, so Presbytera Angie. And he had 4 sisters. He was preceded in death by his father, the Reverend John George Barris. May his memory be eternal.
Thank you, Senator Ahlquist, and please convey the sympathies to the friends and family of the deceased. Senator Padilla, for what purpose do you rise, Senator?
Adjourning tribute as well.
Please proceed, Senator.
Thank you very much. Members, it saddens me to share the news with all of you that another one of our dedicated state employees and true public servants has passed away. Valerie T. Hall passed away just before the Christmas holiday after a 5-month battle with melanoma cancer. She moved with her family at the age of 4 to Sacramento, graduated from Encina High School and attended Sacramento State University as well, and was a state employee for 35 years. 32 of those years at the California Energy Commission, where she was a pivotal figure in the establishment of some of the landmark policies and regulations that have made California, the Energy Commission specifically, sort of a national leader in the area of energy efficiency. Her title most recently was Deputy Director for the Efficiency and Renewables Division. And for all of us who either brag about or seek to build upon the efficiency standards for new buildings and appliances, it's her that we should thank for having laid the foundation in this arena. Valerie's husband of 28 years, Peter Hall, and her son James Hall are here with us in the back of chambers. If I can ask them to stand for just a second as the California State Senate shares its condolences with you, but thanks you for having shared Valerie with us. And all Californians will truly benefit for generations to come. A celebration of life is scheduled for Sunday, this Sunday the 9th at 2 p.m. at the Sacramento Grand Ballroom. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Padilla. Please convey the sympathies of the Senate to the friends and families of the deceased, as well as our appreciation for the years of public service. Senator Lowenthal, for what purpose do you rise?
To adjourn in the memory.
Please proceed, Senator.
It's with great sadness that I announce that this past weekend, a person, if people who know San Pedro know that John Olguin is synonymous with San Pedro. John Olguin was just short of his 90th birthday, just recently was named a I think he was called the Citizen of the Millennium. He was recognized in San Pedro. He was the founder of the Cabrillo Marine Aquarium. He was a member of the Polar Bears. He organized them for 50 years, and actually he died just hours before the Polar Bears and New Year's Eve went into the water. He raised money for all sorts of youth programs. It is just hard to believe that San Pedro will be without John Olguin. So to his wife, Muriel, I just send our deepest regards. It is a great sadness and a great loss that we've lost a great American in John Olguin.
Thank you, Senator Lowenthal. And Senator Lowenthal, if you could be sure to bring the information forward so that we can assure that the passing is properly memorialized, and please do convey the sympathies of the Senate to friends and family. Senator Wright, for what purpose, sir?
I think if you've never had an opportunity to visit the Cabrillo Museum in San Pedro that Mr. Holguin organized, or they have a banquet every year. Now, the polar bear thing is clearly limited to people who probably look like polar bears, but they also have a grunion dance that they do. In fact, Alan and I have probably done the grunion dance a few times. And Mr. Holguin...
Senator Wright, this may fall into the category of too much information on the first day of session.
But the grunion dance is important because periodically during the year, depending on phases of the moon, the grunion run in San Pedro and come up on the shore. It's kind of interesting. You can actually eat the little guys. It's kind of cruel because they're actually coming to spawn, but it is a tradition in San Pedro, both at the museum and things that Mr. Holguin did. And you try to make light, again, of someone who's lived such a marvelously long life, but Sacramento and San Pedro will be, short one great citizen for having lost him and his contributions to the San Pedro community.
Thank you, Senator Wright, and we will add your condolences as well. Senator Leno, for what purpose do you rise?
Mr. President, to adjourn in memory.
Please proceed, Senator.
Colleagues, I ask that you join me in adjourning in memory today for the passing of Richard Goldman, who died November 29th of last year. Richard Goldman was not only a renowned citizen of San Francisco and California, but recognized internationally for setting a new bar in his philanthropic work. He started at Goldman Insurance Company in 1949 after having graduated from UC Berkeley and built it into a very successful business. He and his wife, Rhoda, established the Richard and Rhoda Goldman Fund in 1951, and since then, that fund has distributed over $680 million in its philanthropy. They are probably best known for the Goldman Environmental Award, prize, which recognizes innovative and creative environmental leaders who are working at the local level. And they've recognized individuals on each of the continents. And through their recognition of these grassroots environmental leaders, really inspire others to follow suit. They've been top donors to the California State University system and to the University of California. The Public Policy School at Berkeley has been named in their memory, as has a Environment, Science, Technology, and Policy Institute at Stanford University as a result of their philanthropy. So it is a great loss, but we want to thank both he and his wife, Rhoda, who predeceased him by a number of years, for their extraordinary leadership and endless generosity of not only their resources, but of their spirit as well. He leaves behind 3 children, 11 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren, and a sister as well. We offer our condolences and thoughts and prayers to the family at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Leno. And again, please be sure to convey the sympathies to friends and family. Senator Dutton, for what purpose do you rise, sir?
Just to announce we'll have a brief Republican caucus right after the session's over in the Cox Lounge.
Thank you. And Senator LaMalfa, for what purpose do you rise, sir?
to adjourn in memory, Mr. President.
Please proceed, Senator.
Two great pillars of Northern California have passed in recent days, and the first I rise in great respect for a gentleman who actually served in this body from 1958 to 66, Mr. Virgil O'Sullivan from Colusa County. He was a longtime farmer and rancher up there, and as well as having a member of the bar. In later years, he served the United States in World War II as a gunner on a Army Air Force bomber, in addition to all of his other leadership roles he had for us in this great state. So Virgil O'Sullivan was 92 years old, a very spirited man. I didn't get a chance to know him very well, but I knew a lot of him, and a great leader in our north part of our state. As well, I rise in great sadness for a personal friend, Mr. Everett Freeman, who was served as chairman of the Paskenta Band of Nomlaki Indians, based mainly in Tehama County as well as Glenn County. Mr. Freeman I knew personally very well. He was a very kind, very helpful man who very, very much valued hard work, whether it was farmers or members of his tribe or what have you. He really had a great value on being part of the land and a respect for that. He was a kinder person you wouldn't meet than Mr. Freeman there. So we're very saddened by his passing as well, and I appreciate this body adjourning in those two gentlemen's name today. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator LaMalfa, and please do be sure to convey the sympathy to friends and family of the deceased. Members, do we have any other items under motions and resolutions? If not, Senator Steinberg, there is no other business and the desk is clear.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Let me just take the opportunity, first of all, to welcome everyone back. A happy new year to the members, to the staff, to the press corps, and to the 4 people watching on television. Today is I hope everyone had a nice break and got some rest. Today is a historic day in California as power transitions. It's always an incredibly exciting day, regardless of party affiliation, represents, I think, the best in our democracy. And while today is a ceremonial day, and appreciate the fact that we remember some of the Californians who have recently passed away, I want to assure all of you that we're going to get off to a quick and pretty intense start here. The governor will have a State of the State or a budget address sometime, I anticipate, early next week. It is my intention to work with Senator Dutton and all of you to name committee chairs sometime the middle to late this week, and then work this week on actually organizing the committee membership, with the idea of being able to have a Rules Committee make their approval sometime next week. So I want to organize the House quickly, and we want to get started because I know it is the governor's intent. It's been reported in the papers, and I think it is correct that the governor is going to ask us to look at the budget crisis and deal with it early, in an effort to put it behind us as early as possible so that we can focus on some of the other important work that sometimes gets lost as the budget crisis, the fiscal crisis lingers. So I just want to let everyone know that it won't be the usual start to a 2-year session. We will get to work quickly. In the meantime, there'll be a Democratic caucus tomorrow at noon in the Maddie Lounge. And I hope everyone has a great day here celebrating the new term in office for statewide elected officials and the new governor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Steinberg. Before we recess, Senator Steinberg, it's my understanding that we will stand in recess until 3:30, at which time the adjournment motion will be made, and that we will reconvene Thursday at 9 a.m. Is that your expectation? Senator Steinberg? Then with that understanding, members, the Senate will stand in recess until 3:30, at which time the adjournment motion will be made. Senator Steinberg, perhaps.
Thank you. It would be remiss of me to not welcome to our chambers our former colleague, Los Angeles County Supervisor Mark Ridley Thomas. It's all good.
Having completed that important item of business, we stand in recess until 3:30, at which time the adjournment motion will be made. We will reconvene Thursday at 9 a.m.